What's going on, y'all? Today is Saturday, August 10th. Pops and I are down here in the shop. He is just behind this phone right here. You can't see him at the moment, but I'll show you in just a second. We've been busy here lately. The past week or so, some things happened that needed to happen. Pops and I knocked out chassis number 6. Greg Wilkins is the owner of that chassis, and he came and picked it up Friday evening, last Friday evening, and Holly and I were already gone for the day. Well, I say gone for the day, we were gone for a few days. We took a little trip to the beach, and much needed vacation with everything going on with the house and all the baby stuff going on. So we went to Panama City for a few days and hung out, and got back Wednesday. And ever since we got back, Pops and I kind of had parts coming while we were out of town. So Pops was getting deliveries about every day. And people that have given us parts and people that have sponsored us, and we just had parts piling up. So we haven't done a video in a while, so I definitely wanted to do one now that we're down in the shop getting some stuff done. First, I got to give a shout out to Pops, because while we were gone, he got a lot done on the car, y'all. The parts came in, and he didn't have to, but he did. I think he wanted to. He got a lot done for us, and we just been trying to get this thing to where it's turnkey and where we can get the sheet metal work done, get the wrap on it, get it to the racetrack, shake it down, make some laps in his car. So today, as you can tell, I'm sitting in the car. You can probably guess what we're doing, but we're bleeding brakes. So we were down here bleeding earlier, and we had a bunch of leaks, just stuff that we overlooked, and that's why you do this kind of work. Also, there were fittings and lines that were leaking. The copper tubing kit that I had put in the Amazon wish list, and I want to say it was Dylan Jones that bought it for us. We appreciate him buying it for us, and it was bad on my part to select that copper tubing kit, and just about every copper line we've put on this car out of that kit has been flared, just like all of our steel line. It just, for whatever reason, it won't seal off. So Pops just swapped one copper line out for another steel line that we had on the shelf. That was a used line off of a chassis somewhere. We cleaned it up good and put it on there, and it tightened up good. So now we're about to bleed some more. So y'all hang out with us for a little bit. I'm not going to do a time lapse. I may do one here in a little bit, but I figured y'all just hang out with us while we bleed some brakes. And when I get out of this thing here in a little bit, we may fire it up again and let YouTube world see that it is running, and I'll show y'all everything we've gotten done under the hood. So y'all hang out with us. You ready?
Yep.
All right. I saw that spray up. What it was, y'all, we had fluid on our four corners, but then we got to noticing, as you can tell, there's drips in here, and there's drips up there, and there's a rag up there by my foot. We had a union. We had a leak at a T right up here, and then we had a union right here behind this dash that was leaking, and then we had a fitting leaking right there where it ties into the right front cutoff. So, ready?
Good.
Still leaking at the T up here, Daddy. I can see it dripping. Yeah, we'll just have to swap that T out. Got brake fluid all in the floor now. I had to clean that good. Luckily it's powder coat and it will clean up pretty good. I don't think I seen another T in there earlier. Well, y'all, there's a brass tee right in there that's leaking, and I can see it dripping again just then.
Not coming out of that one.
You want me to push it and see?
Not coming out of that one. All right, go ahead. Whoop. I find it.
See it?
I find it.
This is why it's good to do this right here. I mean, I know most people bleed their brakes. I know everyone should. But we do know there are people that don't. We've seen some folks that don't really do a whole lot of maintenance week in and week out. And this is, I feel like this is something that probably should be done weekly. If not weekly, at least bi-weekly, the latest. Because you never know when you get air in the system where you may find a leak. Which obviously everything on this chassis is new, or it's used and we've cleaned it up and reused it. So obviously we want to try everything and make sure it all works. Wrong size? Which line is it? The one going out front? Is it the one going to the left front?
Yeah.
I got you.
I'm going straight through.
Then this is the bad part about using brake lines off of other chassis right here, is we've had to go through about 20 different wrenches. And it's not good because you can't just grab.
You can open up a pack, get out and in, and you got 6 metric and 1 standard.
Yeah, that's true. It seems like all the ends we buy for these brake lines and stuff, they're all different. For example, earlier, the 2 front calipers, the bleeding screw is a 3/8, and the right rear is a 5/16, and the left rear is a 10mm. So we had some extra calipers over there, and I think Pops was getting a bleed screw out of one of those because the bleed screw in the left rear over here was bad or didn't really feel good. So it's just one of those things. This is all stuff that kind of sucks. We'll try to get all this stuff the same size, that way you can grab a universal wrench. I say a universal or just a standard size wrench. What are you doing?
I gotta find a metric now to fit that standard board.
It's been a headache. Been a headache today, y'all. And it's our own fault. We were trying to source what we had. And sometimes that's what you got to do when you don't have the money to go out and buy just all new parts. Is it the one back there on the caliper?
No, I had 2 of them. I got another right here.
All right.
Look at that.
Fit?
See it? Tight too.
Which is that T?
I don't know.
Or maybe,
This is steel line.
I know it. I'm gonna try it.
Nope.
Leaking. What do you think? Just wait and replace the T.
Yep.
I've seriously thought about, I know a lot of people frown upon this and some people love it. What we originally thought about doing on this car when we put it together was using all AN fittings and AN lines, braided lines. And we done it on our open wheel, wasn't it? is that open wheel we put together. We done all braided.
Yeah.
And it's easier to route lines. It's easier to put them on the car because you don't have to bend them and worry about bending a ride or whatever. And you also don't run into this right here, because usually on the AM fitting, once it's tight, it's tight. And if y'all watched right then, Pops was tightening up that fitting in that T, and it's tight. It's either the flare's bad, or it's got trash in it, or the T's bad, or it has trash in it. Because earlier we had to take the fitting out of the top of the right front cutoff and thought we had it fixed, but we did fix it actually on the cutoff. The Pop sanded the brake line, the end of the flare, and I cleaned out the
end of that line right there? No, it's not beautiful.
all the flare.
It's bad.
Huh.
It's bad.
Reckon we cut it off, re-flare it? Got another?
Yeah. I just gotta get it that way.
Alright. Y'all hang out. We're gonna cut this line off and re-flare it and see what we can do right here about fixing these leaks. Y'all hang out. We'll be right back. You ready?
Yep. I ain't got nothing in my hand. All right.
Now we got to rebleed.
I'm bleeding everywhere to bleed. All right.
All right. Fluid?
You find me a rag. I got it back. Okay?
Yep. All right.
Nothing but fun. You know,
Well, don't look like we're leaking up here anywhere.
hey, it's dry. Both of them dry.
None of this is leaking. I said none of this is leaking on the master cylinder. So,
That's not leaking.
do we need to rebleed that right rear where we tightened up that fitting?
Yeah, probably. I'm on the us having that apart.
Yeah.
I need
Do that one.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. We got tons there.
All right. All right.
Okay. You're getting a little bit of half.
I want to check fluid. Dropped a little bit. All right. You good? This is the fun part. Nobody likes to participate in. Nobody likes to participate in this part. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right. All right, y'all. This is the fun part of all the builds and putting a car together. All y'all that watch know, if you've ever put a car together, it gets aggravating from time to time, figuring stuff out. And when we cranked it last night, we got a steering box that's leaking. The seal in the bottom of the steering box is leaking, so we've got another stock steering box that we'll probably put on it and make sure that it's okay. We know it's a low mileage steering box, and we'll probably put it on there and run it because we know it's good, it's tight, and we are running a quickener. If y'all remember, we're running a 2-to-1 quickener. So just then, once we got the brakes bled, the pedal feels great. Brakes are good. Pops had me cut the power on, and I cut my right front cutoff on, which is electric, and it don't cut the right front off. So we don't know what's going on with that. It was, when we first installed it and wired it up, it was clicking pretty hard, obviously with no fluid or anything in it. And right now it's just barely clicking, so we don't know if it's a power issue or what, but we're gonna dig into that, figure out the problem, and either swap it, put a new one in it. I mean, even though it's brand new, that's just the aggravating part. Or put a manual ball valve in it. It's probably what we'll do. I don't like the electric sometimes because of this problem. And if you do a manual ball valve, one of those 2,000 PSI ball valves, then you ain't gotta worry about it. So I'll turn the camera around though and show y'all everything we got going on, show you everything that we've done, so y'all can see the progress on the car. Alrighty, so while I was on vacation, Pops built us a fan shroud. I went ahead and ordered a Dominator fan shroud for a 28-inch radiator, and it's just the short one because I knew we had to add to it, but I didn't know how much. So we got a new fan, new 17-inch fan, and then Pops made this fan shroud up, and then we come in and he made this top piece. I think it was yesterday we made all this. Day before yesterday? Day before yesterday we made this piece here to block the back of the fan shroud, and that way air wouldn't try to come through there, and it would go through the radiator. So it does a real good job. It takes the car forever to warm up. So we had to let it run the other night for about 30 minutes before it ever even moved to gauge. So don't mind the rag that's there for the power steering box leak. I went ahead and made up all the exhaust. We're just running 3-inch 90s with a Speedway muffler and turn downs. And then, of course, everything on the motor is buttoned up. Throttle linkage is done. Of course, all that's finished up. We got y'all remember us putting on the new fuel pump, and I would have to look back at my notes. I can't remember who bought it for us, y'all. We've had so much stuff sent to us, I can't remember every person. But we put the new fuel pump on, and that is a Carter fuel pump. And this is a Mr. Gasket gauge from O'Reilly's. Take that how you will. Sometimes these work really good, sometimes they don't. But right now it's showing that we only have about 3.5 PSI fuel pressure. So I plan to get a new gauge so we can really tell. And then if it is 3.5, I'll have to get another fuel pump. We want to be between that 6-7 PSI. So, or 5 to 7 roughly. But we definitely don't want to be 3.5. So that's where we're at. All the brakes are done, like I said. Pops and I we slid this chunk in it yesterday, and we have to get more nuts for the chunk. A couple of them were bad, so we've got to get some more of those. We've got about 6 on there, 4, 5, 6, something on there, holding the chunk in because we went ahead and siliconed it. All we have to do is put the axles in. We've got to get new O-rings for the end of our Tomcat hubs, the little cap, the axle cap. The O-rings were dried up and pretty brittle. So we'll get new O-rings for those. We'll get rear end grease in the rear end. And we have to get a drive shaft. We measured last night. Center to center is 52 inch, which is about standard. I think that's actually stock G-body drive shaft length. So we'll get a drive shaft, and it'll be good to roll. It'll be good to move under its own power, and that'll be good to see. So right now, I know a lot of y'all haven't seen it cranked. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug the the distributor back up. I say MSD all the time because everybody's car we work on, they have an MSD box, and we unplug it to weld because we done some welding back here. If y'all remember, we talked about moving our brake tabs. They were right here, so we moved them down there so our brake line is long enough and stays away from everything. So we'll go ahead and let me cut the power on. If I can reach it. Switch, which we haven't cranked it today, so. Showing 80 pounds of oil pressure, and we don't believe that's right, because when the car is sitting here not running, the gauge is showing 20 psi already. So that's probably around 60 pound of oil pressure. I think we're just gonna have to get a couple of new gauges. This is just stuff we're figuring out, y'all. This stuff's been sitting for a while, and we're just now getting to where we can crank the car and get it running. But it runs good. Again, we can't thank Matt Brown enough for loaning us this motor. Cody Howard has helped us a lot. We appreciate him. I've got it idled up a little bit. A little cold natured. Alrighty, y'all. Well, there she is. That's how far we've gotten. That's the progress. We're getting there. It's just taking a little time. So now that we've got the brakes complete and we get a drive shaft in it, and once it moves under its own power, we're going to back it up in here at ride height, set our air pressures and everything, and then we can start measuring for our sheet metal for our doors, get our bumper mounted, our plastic. So then the fun begins to where we can finish our sheet metal work. Like I said, once we get that done, Kevin Tripp, he's going to do the wrap on it, or make us a wrap. I guess we'll put it on, probably call in some reinforcement for that, and we'll have this thing ready to race, hopefully within a month. That's my goal anyway, because I like to shake it down this year and run a couple races with it, and then that way we can bring it in here during the winter. We can pull Matt's motor out, put our new motor in from Twisted over the winter, and have it ready for next season. Sitting on G, waiting on O. So shout out to Pops for everything he done while I was on vacation, and we've been getting with it since I've been back. So right now, first of the week, this thing will probably be moved back to the side so we can get another frame in here and start Hound Dog chassis number 7. So that one's going to Dustin Newton up in Tennessee. So we look forward to building him a car. And heck yeah, man, we're rolling along with everything. Can't thank y'all enough for all the support, everything that y'all have sent us and sponsored us, and everybody that's helped us along the way. It all starting to come together, and it really is much appreciative from us toward y'all, how much y'all have helped us. And we couldn't be this far without the help of a lot of people, numerous people. And once we get this thing running, the body on it, the wrap on it, and race ready, we're going to pull it outside, and we're going to go over everybody that sent us stuff or sponsored us stuff and showcase everyone, because we appreciate every one of y'all. But right now, we're going to call it a day. We're going to go enjoy our Saturday evening because it's not as hot. And been a pretty good weekend. So y'all stay safe. If you go race, good luck. And hope all of y'all come back for the next video. And until next time.
Appreciate it, guys, gals. Thank y'all very much. And as you go out tonight to races, be careful, and God bless you.
See y'all.